Halo Reach and Combat Evolved Anniversary were the two games we got with our Xbox 360. Before this, the only Halo I'd really played was the original Halo on PC and ODST at a family friend's house, but on that Christmas day in 2012, I had my world turned upside down. If the graphical leap from the PS2 to Xbox 360 wasn't enough, the level of storytelling displayed in Reach was like nothing I had ever seen before. I was a kid that always struggled to play games from start to end. Even some of my favorite games weren't played to completion until I was about 16. And that's something that I still kinda struggle with today actually. If I lose interest in a game, then I'll drop it in an instant. But I managed to finish Halo Reach within 2 days. I knew that Halo was a cool shooting game, but it wasn't until I reached the end of Long Night of Solace that I, for the first time in my gaming adventure, had a character I cared for taken away from me. And I know that in retrospective that sounds stupid. Fictional characters die all the time, it doesn't make a difference, but I'd never experienced immersion to that level in any game before Halo Reach. That pull made me feel like I was part of the world. Like the characters were actually talking to me, like each loss that Noble Team takes is a loss for me as well, right up until the very end. That's a feeling that's very difficult to put into words, but that's why after putting it off for well over a year, I knew that I needed to talk about what is my favorite game of all time. The game opens not with a simple introduction, but the end. Your helmet, the one you customized, visor broken and discarded on the ground, showing you that this is your story, and that there won't be a happy ending to this one. After that, the screen flashes white with a title card, before you're introduced to Noble Team, a group of Spartans situated on Reach to quell rebellions before quickly jumping into a group of Falcons and being taken to the location of your first mission. Something that this game sets up early on is that all of the cutscenes use camera angles that would be viable in real life. It's shot like a war movie, using helicopter shots to establish the scenery, following the characters with a little wobble as if it's being filmed through an actual zoom lens, and even shots that emulate handheld moments. All of these do a great job of establishing this story as down to earth, or rather down to reach, and being realistic. It tricks our brains into making us feel like we're right there with the characters, even though we should be controlling one of them. But that's also another difference. In ODST you play as the Rookie, a silent character that was treated very much like Master Chief. But here, you get moments where Noble Six talks, where they take action, where you can almost see them contemplating and calculating in ways that the Master Chief and the Rookie don't up to this point. And this makes us feel like Six has a personality, but not enough to detach us from them. This is another unique step that Reach takes to pull us in. It adds just the tiniest amount of dialogue and action so that you as the player begin to fill in the gaps. Where Rookie was too silent and Master Chief already has an endless amount of content diving into him as a character, Noble Six was given a sprinkling of information that keeps us intrigued. In the first cutscene of the game, Carter mentions Six's past as a lone wolf. This does double duty of telling the player that this game isn't going to be the same as the other Halo games, and that we obviously had a past where we were sent into dangerous missions. This lets us know that we're capable, but are we selfish, or are we just so skilled that we were sent solo? Obviously now there are books and other mentions of Six's past, but for someone who isn't an absolute nerd, these questions will absolutely start to pop up, and you as the player will begin to work out your own persona for the character. This also works to an extent for the rest of the team as well, but interestingly, there's more than just the dialogue that ultimately tells you about the characters, but I guess we'll get to that later on. The gameplay of Halo Reach is quite similar to the previous Halo games, with a few touches that some people have been very vocal about disliking. Even today, they still get brought up. As you touch down on the ground to begin the first mission alongside your teammates, you'll notice a few things. For one, we've returned to having shield and a health meter, which hasn't been visible since the first title. Even if health was still kind of a factor during ODST, you have a compass just above your health bar, and then your eyes settle to the bottom left where you reveal Halo Reach's biggest sin according to the Halo community: the sprint. First off, I need to say that I agree that sprint is something that I feel is a large problem with more modern Halo games. But, and that's a very big but, in this game the sprint is implemented in a way that's both intelligent and, I think, an incredible evolution of the equipment system. The equipment system of Halo 3 ended up becoming something similar to grenades that isn't really a bad thing. I think single-use utility are a good way of mixing up combat without needing to drastically change the core of the game, but armor abilities both alter the core and offer a risk-reward system for the people using them. Picking an armor ability is relatively simple, but choosing how to use it isn't. The sprint is useful for getting around quickly, but makes you vulnerable when you're moving. Armor lock is incredibly strong and can be an absolute game changer in close range encounters, but using it to survive a sniper is right next to a tour down the river Styx. Some of the equipment has also been turned into armor abilities, like the drop shield and invisibility, which have also been adjusted to fit alongside these new additions. Yes, it's very different to the older style of Halo gameplay, but the core of the game stays mostly the same while creating a foundation for future growth with the introduction of these abilities. But if that's where you thought people's hatred ended, oh boy, you don't know the half of it. Spartans, there's only one thing so evil, so vile in this world, that it could completely destroy Halo single-handedly. Are you prepared? Recoil. I know. Believe it or not, when you fire something so fast that it breaks the sound barrier, the gun might move a little bit in your hands. Okay, I know that I'm exaggerating a little, but yes, this is something that people got absolutely pissed about, and I've always found it a little ridiculous. I understand people's complaints, but that's only when you don't take into account the maps, which people also have an issue with. These complaints are taking one aspect of the design and treating it as if it's the only reason that it exists, but that's really not the case. The maps are larger because the player has more options for movement, but it also is to take advantage of the bloom on guns, meaning it's harder to punish players from long distances with guns outside of the sniper rifle, almost like that gun has an actual reason to exist in large battles now. Okay, so if they changed so much about the game, then what did they actually keep from the previous titles? Well, a lot more than it would seem, actually. From big team battles to SWAT and Slayer, the maps offer a good mix of sightlines and cover, as well as giving you great opportunities to interact with the new mechanics. Like how Spire is the perfect place to set up for an air assassination, or take advantage of the new weapons like the beam rifle, DMR, or my favorite, the needle rifle. They even bring back some of the classic maps like Blood Gulch and Reflection. There's a kind of magic that you feel as you move through this game, even in multiplayer, which ends up being endlessly more intense. Pretty much all of the maps are arenas taken from the campaign, not only going to show just how well designed these sections are, but also grounding everything back into the universe of Reach, especially when playing something like Firefight or Invasion. Firefight especially is something I spent hours inside, and going back to play it again, it surprised me to see just how well it holds up. But all of that pales in comparison to what is arguably the most underappreciated piece of this entire puzzle: Forge. It cannot be understated as to how massive of an addition Forge was to Halo 3, but when compared to what we have in Reach, Halo 3's Forge just kind of looks like a tech demo. The amount of time that I spent in Forge easily equated the amount I played the campaign and multiplayer. That's not saying I ever made anything good, but there is an almost endless amount of content out there that people have spent thousands of hours on, from incredible alternative game modes to maps for multiplayer and racing. Even most of the old school maps that come with the game were recreated in Forge, like the Blood Gulch, or Hemorrhage as it's called here. Halo has always been a strong community game, and Reach is absolutely no different. There's even a collection of playlists that don't allow the use of armor abilities, for all of those people that think they somehow destroy the flow of the game. And this at its core is what makes Halo Reach so important. The freedom to create what you want in Forge so that you can play with your friends. The freedom to customize your character's armor and the colors. The ability to immerse yourself deep within this world. And every step of the way, Reach is pulling you in, offering everything Bungie had left to give, and it expresses all of that so well in the remainder of the story. So, with all of that aside, I want to go back and talk about the reveal of the Covenant in this game. In the first mission after we touch down, we make contact with a few civilians who report hearing screams and that one of his sons was killed by something in the fields. Now, as Noble One emphasizes the word something, we all know what it means, but the characters don't. And to them, this could just be one of the various animals that exists on this planet. So, as we move on to the next building and we start to see soldiers killed, hung up on coat racks, we hear running across the metal roofing, all setting this up like a horror game, because to these Spartans, it's only confirming their greatest fear, and then they see it. The Covenant are on Reach. People have pointed out that this lacks impact because of how Noble Team reacts to the situation, and I understand where they're coming from, but they miss out on the most important part of this entire mission. From this point forward, the confirmation that they are not just hunting rebels, but the Covenant. Their entire mission changes from investigating to reporting to their colonel as soon as possible. And that makes sense. These are soldiers, superhumans who have not only faced the Covenant before, but have been chemically augmented to react before they feel. After this reveal, you move forward to the first car, a simple utility vehicle that farmers use to get around, and you're given the option of which way you want to go. And even if everything leads to the same conclusion, simply being given this choice makes the game feel so much larger than it realistically is. This also works really well when they add the creatures like the Moa or the Guta in the mission Nightfall. This eventually leads us to a handful of soldiers, getting them safe before we're taken to the relay to finally get the message to Colonel Holland. But things are far from controlled. The relay is being attacked by a surprising number of Covenant, leading us to the only real option we have of fighting our way to the door and then sealing ourselves in until we can get the word out. And this is the point where things begin to sink in. The Covenant are attacking scientists, cutting off comms, and we aren't as alone as we thought we were. As soon as the Zealots attack, things seem strange. They swing at George but ignore him as soon as he isn't a threat. They storm towards the door and attack us, but as soon as they realize their shields are about to break, they retreat, using their energy swords to block their face, even taking an injured soldier as a hostage. This isn't how elites fight. They'd rather die than be dishonorable in combat. No, these elites have a purpose, and it has nothing to do with us. Finally, after dispatching the Zealots, we get to rest. The mission has come to an end, at least for the moment, and we get to the first display of who these characters are. It's clear that Kat and Carter have done this dance more than once, and George, he still wants to hold on to his humanity, but it's debatable whether Spartans can still be human at all. Alongside this, the track changes, stripping away all of the synthesizers and grunge to show this beautiful, almost fragile sounding piano underlying it, showing the damage left in the wake of this war, the humans who need to pick up all of the pieces. There's a type of wonder that I feel when certain tracks hit in this game. As soon as you reach Long Night of Solace, things begin to change in the game. The music begins to shift to a far more somber tone as we reach what we expect to be the end, even if, sadly, this is only the beginning of our downfall. There's quite a notable turn in the mood for all of the cutscenes from here on out, and while the music can still take its normal intense notes, there's an undercurrent of mourning, a sense of panic and struggle to keep moving forward as the situation gets more dire. The end of New Alexandria, moving into the package, is the perfect example. And it's only in those moments when we have a goal right in front of us that the orchestra brings back its triumphant horns and builds only to crash back down as soon as we reach that goal. The crushing weight of everything around us falling to the Covenant. The reality that even if this war hasn't finished, we lost. And as the epilogue rolls around, we continue to struggle, even if all of it is lost. This has probably been the hardest script I've ever had to commit to writing. Not because of the content inside of it, but because Reach feels like so much more to me than just a game that I enjoy. Noble Team and the world of Reach feels so intimately connected to me as a person. It's like trying to take apart my own body and look at it objectively. It's almost an impossible task. My ankles click when I walk on cold days, my stomach hurts when I eat onions, but I wouldn't change anything about it, because that's me. And removing or changing parts of me would just kind of make me a different person, or change the way I interact with the world. Do I think that this game's perfect? No, but I don't think there will ever be a perfect game. But to me, this feels about as close as we could ever get. With this final cutscene, Bungie's time in this universe was over, and it was time for them to rest, but they had already passed the torch. Because of them, we'd found Halo, unlocked its secrets, and had a damn good time with friends because of it. And, much like the rest of Noble Team, leaving their words and actions behind for the rest of us to pick up and share with the world. So, for everyone who created these games up to this point, every programmer and artist, every casualty caused, thank you. Alright, that's the end. I don't know, just kind of wanted to take a moment at the end to say hi, outside of the scripted stuff, and say, we've got a Patreon! It's been something that Travis and I have been talking about for a while, but at some point, if we're going to make bigger projects, we probably need money coming from somewhere. The job market is not doing it. But yeah, if you want to support us, the amount we're asking is really cheap. Anyone going there would be amazing. But yeah, and I did mean a lot of what I said there. If you are a game developer or someone that had something to do with Halo over the years, it's kind of difficult to explain just how much it shaped a lot of my childhood and kind of the way I look at games today. Just thank you. Everyone who worked on this. Bungie, Ensemble, even 343 to a certain extent, but I'll get to them in the next few videos. Yeah, if you're still watching the video, then you're probably seeing the credits of whatever, or maybe some gameplay of the epilogue, but I hope you enjoy the stuff. I hope you're interested in what we have next, because we've got some pretty big ideas coming up that we hope you enjoy. So yeah, catch you in the next one.